got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on. All through my city, all through my home. We're flying up, no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body when it drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off of it, moving so phenomenally. You're more like the way we rock it, so don't stop. And under the lights when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you already know. So just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel good creeping up on you. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. All those things I shouldn't do, but you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 4 of the Keyboard Rich Challenge. Welcome back, bookkeepers. Welcome back, Keyboard Rich family. I hope you're excited for today, because today we are going to get paid. Okay. Now, it's not all about money. It's not all about money. It's about freedom. It's about flexibility. It's about all those things. But hey, guess what? Without clients, you don't have a business. Without a business, we're not able to make that income. Okay. So today we're going to take all of what we've learned, and now we're going to start marketing that skill. We've got this valuable skill. You guys all have this gift right now, and you've got this valuable skill. And as long as we put it in front of the right people, we're going to start to get paid. Okay. So who's excited about this valuable skill we have, and now learning how to get paid for it, get clients, get paying clients? Drop a $sign in the chat if you guys are excited about it. Okay. And that $sign, that could be financial richness. That could represent, richness with your family and all of those things. Okay. We're talking about being rich in all aspects of our life. Okay. So I'm seeing lots of $signs. Okay. You guys are ready to go. You are ready to go. And it's going to be a fun one. A lot of people feel like marketing's the hard part. Getting clients is going to be the hard part. Getting clients is the easy part, as long as you know where to look and what to say. And today, we're going to talk about where to look, what marketing strategies that you want to be using to get all the clients you want, even if you are brand new. Okay. So if you feel like, nobody's going to trust me because I'm brand new, well, guess what? With all due respect, you're wrong. Okay. Because if that were the case, I would never have gotten a client ever, because I was new at one point. Okay. So let's get into day 4. Let me go ahead and share my screen, and we will walk you through exactly how it works. Okay. Let's share this screen, and boom, one last time. Do the homework. Do the work I'm asking you to do. As you guys can see, not everybody has made it this far. You guys are the ones that have showed up and put in the time and made this your week. You've moved things around. Some of you have made some pretty big sacrifices to be here and to do this work. Some people are watching the replays at midnight. Kudos to you for doing the work. Okay, the people who didn't make it this far, good luck finding something else like this. Good luck to you. So anyway, life happens. Okay, but continue to do the work. If you haven't done your homework, go back and keep doing it. Okay, you still have time to do the homework. Okay, but this is how you earn your points to get those prizes. We're going to give away prizes tomorrow on the challenge. Okay, we'll pick our 3 winners. Okay, so get your points done. Also, a lot of you have been asking about, hey, this week has been awesome, but I want to know everything there is to know about QuickBooks. I want to know everything there is to know when it comes to getting clients. And, I want somebody to help walk me through this process. And I've, enjoyed, what I've got this week, but I want to take this further, and I want to get to that ideal life I calculated on day 1 as fast as humanly possible. I'm going to talk about your options, since you've been asking about them in my mentorship program, and the people who, we give the awards out to. I'm going to tell you how that works. Okay. So if you're interested in hearing about how that works, just go to keyboardrich.com/more. And if you want to drop this link into the chat and then turn off comments, that would be great. You just go to keyboardrich.com/more, and you answer a few questions. Tell me a little bit about yourself, and then you will get the Zoom link to access the breakout session that we're having right after the challenge ends today. So at 10:30 Pacific time. Okay, 10:30 Pacific time, you'll go in and we'll just talk about it. We'll talk about what your options are moving forward. Okay, so if you haven't done this already, do it now. Okay, do it now because we're going to start right when the challenge ends. Also, if you can't make the breakout session live at 10:30 Pacific time, you still want to go to this website, click the link that Anna just dropped in the chat, and answer those questions because we will email you out the replay. Okay, we'll email you out the replay. That way, you'll be fully equipped to move forward with confidence with this brand new skill that you have. Okay, so let's get into day 4. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the demand for bookkeepers. Okay, just how in demand is this skill? Well, there are 32.5 million small businesses in the United States, and 5.4 million new businesses start every single year. And guess what? Every one of them needs a bookkeeper. We talked about on day 1 about how every single business needs to be doing their bookkeeping. Okay, it's a requirement. Okay, so our client pool is huge, and guess what? It's getting bigger every year. And then when you combine that with the fact that you can work virtually with clients across the country, the potential client pool is massive. It's massive. It's huge and growing every single year. I've got clients all over the country, and you will too. You'll have some local clients, and then you'll have clients across the country if you're doing your marketing properly and using the strategies that we're going to be talking about today. Okay, so I've got clients in I've got Florida and New York and New Jersey and Illinois. I mean, the list goes on and on. Okay. Cloud technology allows us to work with clients virtually. We're not dealing with paper receipts or bills. Everything's in the cloud. Okay. So that potential client pool is huge. I think I also mentioned on day 1 that you can find articles online about the shortage of bookkeepers. Okay. There's a shortage of good bookkeepers. Okay, so if you're committed to doing a good job, you're in the right spot. Okay, so why do businesses need us in the first place? Okay, why are bookkeepers even in demand? Okay, because there's a lot of different ways that someone could get their bookkeeping done. Why do they need us specifically? Well, maybe they're just starting and they need our help getting set up. The smart business owners out there, and you'll hear from them all the time, they'll call you up or they'll reach out to you and they'll say, hey, I just started my business. I want to get set up the right way. Okay. Those are the smart business owners. And those are the ones you really want to work with. And they know that they want a solid foundation, because without that solid foundation, that solid financial foundation that our bookkeeping services and QuickBooks gives them, I mean, they're going to build a shaky building. And if they want their business to succeed, you don't start with a shaky foundation. Okay. So maybe they've just started out. They want our help getting set up. Maybe they're sick of struggling doing the bookkeeping themselves when they should be running and growing their business. Okay. When business owners start their own business, typically what they do when it's a small business is they're wearing all the hats. Okay. My wife's a chiropractor, so I've used this example before, but when chiropractors, they go out on their own, they're doing it all. They're doing the chiropractic adjustments. They are doing marketing. They're doing their bookkeeping. They're cleaning up their office. Like, they're doing it all themselves. Okay. But business owners don't get into business to do bookkeeping. None of them do. Okay. They get into business to do what they love to do, whether it's helping patients, adjust, do chiropractic adjustments, or it's lawyers that enjoy helping their clients win cases. That's what they got into business for. And they don't know how to do their bookkeeping. So typically they're struggling with it. It's taking them a lot of time. They want to focus on what they are good at so that they can grow their business. Okay. Maybe their current bookkeeper isn't working out. I mean, you'll get people reaching out to you all the time. That's like, hey, my current bookkeeper isn't working out. Okay, there's a lot of lousy bookkeepers out there. Okay, plenty of lousy bookkeepers out there. Make sure you're not one of them. Okay, make sure you're using the tools that we're giving you this week. Okay, so maybe their current bookkeeper just isn't working out. Maybe that relationship has just gone sour for some reason. Okay, maybe their current bookkeeper is retiring. Okay, and the list goes on and on. So there are so many reasons why small businesses are reaching out to us. So it's a mistake to think, well, if a business has already been in business, they're not going to need. Well, take a look. Okay, there's plenty of new businesses starting. There's plenty of bookkeepers retiring, and bookkeepers just not doing a good job, or the business owners in many cases will be reaching out to you because they just are sick of doing it themselves. Okay, and they're getting themselves into a mess. All right, so are you realizing how easy it can be to get those yeses that you calculated on day 1? Okay, you did your dream life calculator. For some of you who want to hit that 6-figure mark, you were in the 11 yeses range. Okay, you get 11 yeses, you got all these millions of small businesses that need our services. Okay, so you're seeing how easy it can be, how high the demand is. So now, when it comes to getting clients, we talked about not needing experience to learn how to do bookkeeping. Okay, anybody can learn how to do this. You don't need to be doing bookkeeping for 30 years to know how to categorize a transaction or do a reconciliation. Okay, let's just be honest. Okay, you guys have learned that. You can create an invoice. Okay, you don't need 30 years of experience to learn how to click the new button and click invoice and click the customer's name. All right. So we know that we can do this. We are confident that we can learn how to do bookkeeping. So we know that we're going to be able to do a good job. But what about clients? Okay. What about clients? Won't they want somebody who has experience? Okay. Will that be important to them? Will they want to be working with someone who's new, who's brand new? Because a lot of us are brand new. Well, I got news for you. The smart ones will. Smart business owners will absolutely work with someone who is brand new. Okay. And let's talk about how that's going to work. Let's talk about how we're going to make that happen. Well, let me show you an example, a real life example of this in play. Who are these two people? Anybody know who these two people are? Well, I think most of you know who this person on the left is. That is Jeff Bezos. He's the third richest person in the world. The rankings change every so often, depending on what the stock market does. But he's around the third richest person in the world with a net worth of $167 billion. So he's clearly a smart business person. Okay. Now, who's the person on the right? If you've read my book, you probably already know this. Okay. But this is not his wife. This person's name is Ann Hyatt. Okay, Ann Hyatt. And who the heck is Ann Hyatt? Well, back in 2002, Ann Hyatt applied for a job at Amazon as Jeff Bezos' assistant, and she had no prior experience as an assistant. Okay, no prior experience. She went through a couple different interviews. She did the last interview with Jeff Bezos. He hired her. She got the job. Why in the world would this guy, this smart businessman, hire an assistant with no prior experience when he has the entire country to choose from. People who have tons of experience as assistants. Okay, being an assistant there's a lot to it. You got to be a multitasker. You got to know how to do a lot. Okay, he could have picked anybody with tons of experience, and he picked somebody who had zero experience. Why did she get the experience, or why did she get the job with no experience? Well, Jeff Bezos is a smart businessman. Okay, he hires people so ambitious and determined that they make up for any expertise that they lack. Okay, think about that. He hired Ann Hyatt, who had no experience, because these other qualities were far more important, because she was ambitious, because she was determined. And that was way more important to him than a specific skill set. That's what smart business owners do. Okay, so she's been quoted as saying that grit, ambition, and energy are more valuable than a specific skill set. Okay, that's what she believes, or that's what she learned from Jeff Bezos. That grit, ambition, and energy are more valuable than having a specific skill set. Okay, so as you can see, clients aren't looking for the person with the most experience. They're just not. If they were looking for the person with the most experience, guess what? I would never get a new client, because there's plenty of people way more experienced than me, and nobody would ever get started. If you don't have experience, I can get clients. I can get clients if you don't have experience. So clients aren't looking for the person with the most experience. Sure, they want someone who knows bookkeeping. Okay, you got to know bookkeeping, but bookkeeping can be learned. We know that. We know that bookkeeping can be learned. So they're not looking for the person with the most experience. So what are clients really looking for? Okay. Why is it that we can be brand new and start working with clients? Okay. Well, we know bookkeeping can be learned. And so they want someone who knows bookkeeping. Okay. So we'll learn how to do this work. They want someone who cares and works hard. Okay, they want these other qualities that Jeff Bezos saw in Ann Hyatt. They want those intangible qualities that make someone an incredible partner. So someone who cares, someone who works hard, someone they can trust and be a true partner to help them grow their business. Okay, being trustworthy, being a true partner, caring about this person's business as if it were our own. Okay. And so as you can see, you can be that person even if you're brand new. So if you're willing to learn this, if you're willing to learn bookkeeping and you really care about your clients and you work hard and you go above and beyond and you can be someone that they can trust and that you can be that partner that helps them grow their business. Remember, I've talked several times about like, hey, it's great the work we do, but it's the output of the work we do, the reports, the information, the way that we can help clients interpret those financial statements to make better decisions in their business so they can make more money. That's what they're looking for. And you can do that even if you are brand new. There are tons of bookkeepers out there that don't take the time to do things properly. On VIP earlier today, we just had someone talk about, I just took over for a client and their previous bookkeeper hadn't done reconciliations for 5 years. I mean, that person probably had some experience, but didn't even take the time to do things right. Okay. This is our opportunity to set ourselves apart from everybody else. Okay. So if you're willing to do these things, these are the things that clients are really looking for. Because keep in mind, clients are selfish. At the end of the day, clients are selfish. Now, I don't mean that in a bad way. Okay. I don't mean that in a bad way. What I mean is that they are far more concerned about their business and the success they have than they are about you and how much experience you have, or your degrees, or your certifications, or how much you charge even. All of that stuff becomes secondary. All of that stuff becomes secondary to the problems they're facing in their business and whether or not you can help them solve that. Okay? Because when it comes to clients, they don't really even want a bookkeeper. Okay? Nobody wants a bookkeeper. Okay? And you're like, Bill, ooh, that sounds a little strange. Well, they don't want a bookkeeper. What they really want is all the good things that our work produces. Okay? They want the end result of the work that we do. Okay, so what are those things? Well, they want us to help them make more money. They want us to help them grow their business. They want us to help them be able to spend more time with their families. Okay, they want all of those things. They don't really want a bookkeeper. So if we're able to focus on those things, how we're able to help them do these three things when we speak to clients, our certifications and experience and all that other stuff becomes secondary. Okay, and we're going to walk through real life examples of this as we go through today and tomorrow about how we should be communicating with clients. Remember, getting clients is where to look and what to say. So it's not just, hey, go here to find a client. It's like, okay, what do we say to encourage them to want to work with us? What do we focus on? Okay, so this is how we need to be speaking to clients. Okay. I'm going to give you an example here in a minute, but this is how we need to speak to our clients in terms of the benefits, the good things that are going to happen to their business. Okay, if we do that and focus on that instead of ourselves, even when you're brand new, clients are going to want to be working with you because those are the things that they want, and other bookkeepers just aren't communicating in this way. Okay, so when it comes to what to say, okay, we'll get to where to look here in a little bit, but real quickly, when it comes to what to say, which would you prefer? Okay, which would you prefer hearing? Let's say, let's play a little game here. Let's say that you are a small business owner. Okay, you're a small business owner and you're looking for a bookkeeper. Okay, which would you prefer hearing from someone? Let's say you find someone's profile online and you read it. Which sounds better to you? Okay, option number one, which is, hey, I've been bookkeeping for 10 years and I'd be happy to help you with your bookkeeping needs. Okay, sounds pretty good, right? Hey, 10 years. Somebody with 10 years experience must be great, right? I think we all know that experience doesn't equal competence. I think we all know that we know plenty of people at our jobs that have a lot of experience, been doing it for a long time, that are lousy, right? I mean, I know I do. Every job that I've been at, experience doesn't equal competence. But hey, some people look at this and say, hey, 10 years. Okay, happy to help with your bookkeeping needs. Okay, cool. Or how about option number two? I help small businesses increase their profit by optimizing their bookkeeping and providing actionable data they can use to grow their business. Which would you prefer? Number one or number two? Okay? Just scream it out. It's wherever you are, scream it out. I think we're all saying the same thing. I think we're all saying option 2. Okay. What is the difference? What is the difference here? Well, let's look at option 2. I help small businesses increase their profit by optimizing their bookkeeping and providing actionable data they can use to grow their business. What's the focus on that? Where are we focusing? Well, we're focusing on the client. We're focused on them and their business. And we're focusing on the benefits, the good things that happen as a result of us doing the work. So we focus on benefits and we focus on the client. What happens in the first one? We don't focus on benefits at all. There's no benefit here. I'd be happy to help with your bookkeeping needs. There's no benefit there. And 10 years of experience, where's the focus? It's not on the client, it's on us. And as we walk through things, you're going to see example after example after example of why we need to be focusing on our client in all of our marketing messaging and when we talk to them on consultations, as opposed to us in our experience and how great we think we are. Because again, clients are selfish. They don't care about us. They care about their business and what's in it for them. Okay. And if you've read the book, you probably remember the story that I've told where I realized this, where I learned this. It was a painful lesson. It was like a networking event. I am not a networking person. I don't like networking events. But that being said, I tried to go to a networking event to get some clients. Okay. And here I was, I'm like a CPA. I got my CPA license, remember, because I thought I wanted to do taxes. So I got my CPA license. Taxes, no, thank you. I don't do taxes. I just focus on bookkeeping. But at the time I was like, hey, I'm a CPA, and I'm going to wow this group here. And when you go to a networking event, you get to stand up and talk about yourself for a couple of minutes and introduce yourself. Okay. So I got to do that. And there was another lady, maybe 50, 55 years old, that was there, and she was a bookkeeper. Okay. And I was like, well, I'm sorry for you, but I'm going to eat your lunch. Okay. I'm going to wow all these people. So I get up and I talk about myself and the fact that I'm a CPA and that I do, I can do bookkeeping and I can do taxes. And I've got, I hear all the great things about me. Here's why I'm so great. Okay. And I thought I just blew the room away. Right. So I sit down, and later in the meeting, this lady gets up and she barely talks about herself at all. She just started talking about how she helps her clients. I help them, maximize profit. I help them optimize their bookkeeping and find ways of being efficient so they can make more money. She started talking about all these things, and I was like, well, nobody's going to want to work with you because they don't even know who you are. Right? So I thought, well, this is a done deal. I'll probably get a couple of clients from this. And so after the networking event, the meeting's wrapped up. People are still kind of like mingling and hanging out there. And I'm talking to this one guy who's not, and it's not even about bookkeeping. And it's, you ever meet these people that just will talk about, like, they just don't know when to stop. All right. And they don't ever ask you any questions about yourself. He's just talking my ear off, and I'm just like trying to get out of this conversation. But meanwhile, I look over at her and she's got like 5 or 6 people that she's talking to, a whole group of people. And I'm like, what happened? I felt like, I was like in an alternative universe. I was like, what happened? And I didn't even realize it at the time. But later, as I started down this road of trying to find the best ways of getting clients, I started seeing the same thing over and over again. This whole concept of clients being selfish and being more concerned about them and their business than they are about you and your experience and how great you think you are. I started to realize that she spoke in the terms that we need to be speaking to clients with. She spoke in terms of benefits. She spoke in terms of what's in it for me, which is what clients are looking for. That's what they're listening for when they're looking at your profiles that we're going to talk about here shortly, or you're talking to them on the phone. We're going to talk tomorrow about how to handle talking to them on the phone once they do reach out to you to become paying clients. They want to hear about what's in it for them, the good things that are going to happen to their business. They're selfish. That's what they're in this for. Okay. So if you focus on those things and speaking in those ways, you will stand out from all these other bookkeepers. We're going to see an example. We're going to look at other bookkeepers' profiles, and you'll see that other bookkeepers are not speaking with this language. They're talking about how they've been doing it for 10 years. They talk about, hey, I've been working at this big corporation, this big accounting corporation for 37 years. Who cares? The clients don't. Clients look at this and they want to see what's in it for them. And you can communicate these things. You can use number two, option number two, even if you're brand new, starting on day one. And that's how your profile is going to stand out heads and shoulders above other people that have been doing this for a long time. Pretty cool, right? It's like your secret weapon. This is your secret weapon to stand out from every other bookkeeper that's out there, so you don't have to worry about not having experience. This is how brand new bookkeepers get clients. I keep pointing at those awards. That's how, over 8,000 people have started and just have gotten clients because they know how to communicate. There is a trick to this. Okay. So this is how you're going to want to communicate. Okay. So now I keep saying success leaves clues. Here's another success story. Okay. Who's this? We all know who this is. This is Bill Gates. Okay. I think he's somewhere around number 7 in terms of the richest people in the country or in the world. And he's worth about $112 billion. Okay. He's got this really awesome quote. Okay. He says, I choose a lazy person to do a hard job because a lazy person will find an easy way to do it. I love this quote. There's a lot of truth to this quote. And I don't consider myself a lazy person. Okay. But we all know that there's an easy way of doing things and a hard way of doing things. Okay. Who wants an easy way of getting clients? Who wants to do it the easy way? Who wants to do it from home? Who wants to do it from their pajamas without having to go to networking events? If that's you, this is the point during the day that we are now going to talk about where to look. Okay, again, marketing is where to look, what to say. We just talked about what to say and how to communicate those benefits and focus on the client. Now let's talk about where to look. Okay, because there's a lot of stuff that you could do out there when it comes to marketing, and you do not want to make the mistake that most bookkeepers make in terms of just randomly trying things that may or may not work. I want you to focus on what's most effective. And when I started out, I had no other idea than to do the things that I heard people talking about, like cold calling and networking and pounding the pavement and stuff like that. Hard things that, but I was desperate. So I just started doing all these hard things. But I came to realize that, if I had to keep doing these hard things I didn't want to do, I probably wouldn't stay consistent with them. I probably wouldn't keep doing them because they were difficult. Okay. And so I was lucky. I had a mentor. I had Karen from the gym who showed me the way, showed me that there was an easier way of getting clients, okay, than doing all these other things. When you hear bookkeepers talking about hey, what are the best ways to get clients? It's because they're doing all this other stuff, this cold calling and this networking and this pounding the pavement stuff, and they don't know about the best ways of getting clients. These are strategies that I use myself and that are working right now. I know that because I use them myself and with everybody in my mentorship program. And I want to share them with you so that you don't have to do the most, those difficult things. Okay. And end up like other bookkeepers who never grow their businesses, or if they do, it happens at a snail's pace. Let's move quickly. Okay. So now there are lots of effective marketing strategies that you can use. Okay. There's lots of effective marketing strategies that you can use, but today I'm going to talk about my favorite 2. Okay, these are my 2 favorites. Okay, so let's get into it. I am going to open up a new browser. So let me go to this website and drag it over to the screen. What are we looking at? Okay, we're seeing some familiar colors here. Okay, QuickBooks likes their green colors. Okay, hey, we're all open to some green, right? Let's make a little green. What is this website? Well, this is called the QuickBooks Find a Pro Advisor website. As you all know, you are all pro advisors. Okay, so yesterday you got your free QuickBooks account. That technically makes you a pro advisor. And now, what this website is, the Find a Pro Advisor site, it's a website that Intuit maintains, that QuickBooks maintains, that it's a directory of pro advisors. So small business owners can come to this website and they can search for a bookkeeper. Okay, they can search for a bookkeeper. And here's the thing. Why am I talking about this? Okay. Over 1 million small business owners hit this website every single year looking for a bookkeeper. How important do you think it is that you get listed here? It is mandatory. Well, unless you don't money and building your business and you want to do things the hard way, then don't worry about this. But I assume that you want to be using the most effective ways of getting clients. And this is mandatory. You need to be listed on the Find a Pro Advisor website. You've got to be. Okay. Now here's how it works. You are all pro advisors right now. Just getting your free account, you're a pro advisor. Okay. But as you can see up here, it says certified pro advisor. You can only list your profile here and take advantage of this marketing opportunity if you are certified. Okay, now what does certification mean? Because, Bill, you said, you don't have to get certifications, and you don't. Being certified doesn't mean you're good. Okay, it means you passed a test. I don't know about you, but plenty of exams I've taken when I was in high school, college, just cram the night before, take the test, and later that afternoon, I forgot everything. So certification does not equal competence. It doesn't mean you're good. It doesn't mean you know how to do work for clients. But the certification is important. The QuickBooks Online certification is important. And it's the only one I talk about because, not because it means you're a good bookkeeper, because that certification, you'll see the training and the certification inside your free QuickBooks account. It is not very good. But once you get that certification, then you can have your profile listed on this website. And you can take advantage of all those people that are searching for bookkeepers. They're reaching out to you. Okay, so how does it work? How do you get your profile listed here? Well, you've got to be certified. And here's the thing: they changed the rules. That used to be you just pass a certification exam, and now you're able to be listed here. Now it's a point system. Okay, you have to get 500 points in order to be listed here. And there's two different ways of getting points. Okay, there's two different types of ways of getting points. One of the types of ways of getting points is if you have clients. So if you have clients that use QuickBooks, you can get points for that. But most of us, we're just starting out. We don't have clients. So how do we get 500 points so we can be listed here? Well, we can get 500 points if we pass the 3 QuickBooks Online certifications. Okay, there are 3 QuickBooks Online certifications that you have access to inside of your free QuickBooks account. Okay, and these certifications are free. Okay, so the 3 certifications are the QuickBooks Online Basic certification, the QuickBooks Online Advanced certification, and then the QuickBooks Payroll certification. So you've got Basic, Advanced, and Payroll, and you've got to pass all 3. Okay, now here's the deal. Okay, here's the deal. The QuickBooks Online Basic certification, on a scale of 1 to 10, I like to say that one's like a 5 or a 6 in terms of difficulty. Okay, a 5 or a 6. Okay, so it's challenging for some people. Some people are able to get through it. The Advanced and Payroll certifications are a 10 out of 10. They are very difficult. And yes, QuickBooks gives, there's some training inside your free QuickBooks account, but it is sorely lacking and does not prepare you well for the exams. If any of you have been through it or looked at it, the training inside your free QuickBooks account is clunky. It's all text. There's really you're not moving around actually doing anything. You're just kind of reading things. It doesn't contain the answers. You can have the training open while you're taking the exam, but it's not like you can just find the answers to the questions as you take the exam. It is like deductive reasoning. Like you have to think through different scenarios. So the Advanced and Payroll are very difficult, and most people fail those exams. Okay. Now here's how it works in terms of what happens if you pass or fail. Well, if you pass, great. You get 3 chances to pass each one of those certifications. If you do not pass within 3 chances, you get locked out for 60 days. 60 days. From my experience, like I said, 50 to 60% of people are able to pass the basic certification with no additional help. We'll talk in the breakout session about how you can pass these 3 exams super fast and easy on the first try. But the Advanced and the Payroll certifications, forget about it. Most people, they try them and then they get locked out, and you're locked out for 60 days, and then they get locked out for another 60 days. And I don't know about you, but I don't have 60 days to wait. I don't have 120 days or 180 days to wait to get my profile up and to start getting clients. Okay. So again, in the breakout session, we'll talk about the easiest way to pass these certifications. So it is challenging to get through them, but suffice to say that once you cross that bridge, okay, and again, in the breakout session, we'll talk about how to do it easy. You get your profile listed here, which is so valuable. Okay, so let's talk about how it works and how you can make the most out of it. Okay. So what's a small business owner going to do? Well, they're going to go to this website and they're just going to type in their location. Okay. So let's type in, what do we want to type in? Oh, Savannah, Georgia. Okay. Let's just type in Savannah, Georgia and click on Find a Pro Advisor. What happens? Hey, look at all these pro advisors. Okay. Now they're all certified. Okay, these are all the certified pro advisors. And a small business owner can come here and they can take a look at them and choose who to reach out to. Okay? Now, you've heard me say a couple of times, there's a difference between doing something and doing something well enough for it to be effective. So it's not enough just to have a profile here. You've got to have this thing optimized properly. Okay, so what's going to make you stand out from everybody else? Okay, we've talked about a couple of things, but let's go through it. Obviously, you've got your picture. Okay, you don't have to get fancy with your picture. You know, these phones today, you just go out and stand in front of a nice flowery bush or something. Use that portrait mode that makes the background a little bit blurry, and you take a picture, and it's perfect. Okay, these phones are like high-end cameras, but suffice to say, any picture will do. But you'd be surprised at how many people and that might be obvious. Like, okay, Bill, I can have a picture up here. You'd be shocked at how many people put a picture up here that actively repel potential clients. I've seen a picture up here of a girl. She was out at a club and she was holding a drink. Now, we all like to go out and have some fun, but probably not the best place to post that picture. Okay. So just a nice personable photograph here. Do not use a logo. I haven't even talked about logos, and for good reason, because you don't need one, but don't put a logo there. Make a connection with the people that are looking for you. Okay. So you got a picture. You've got obviously your name, reviews. We're going to talk about how important reviews are. You need reviews. Okay. And there is a legitimate way to get all the reviews you need, even if you're brand new. We'll talk about that during the breakout session as well. But reviews, okay, you got to have reviews. And then down here, you see this little text here. Andrew served as manager of the small business department of PDM LLP. Okay. Let's dive into this profile. We're going to dive in, take a look at the inside, and then we'll kind of come back out and talk about what's really going to encourage people to want to reach out to us. So let's go ahead and click into this profile, Andrew's profile, and let's just see how it works. Okay. So again, we've got the name, we've got the reviews, you can put your website in there, the services that you offer. Okay. And then you scroll down here and there's this About Me section. Okay. About Me. And if you look at the top here, it says Andrew served as manager of the small business department of PDM LLP. Sounds familiar, right? That sounds familiar. That was on the first page, this results page. Andrew served as manager of the small business department of PDM. Why am I pointing this out? Well, when a business owner goes to the Pro Advisor site and they do a search and they get all these Pro Advisors here, they're going to scroll through. You have to earn their click. You have to do something that makes them want to click into your profile. And the two major things that are going to make them want to click into your profile are your reviews. Your reviews, okay? Talk about later how to get all the reviews you want, even if you're brand new, so you can stand out. And number two, this section right here, this little snippet at the top of that About Me section, they're going to put that here. So that's got to be killer. That's got to be great. And from today's training, what do we know needs to be there? What should we be talking about? I'm looking for two items. If you said feature, if you said benefits, and you said the focus being on the client, you are correct. Has Andrew done either of those things? No, he hasn't. He's talking about himself. He's talking about PDM LLP, who knows what that is. No benefits, nothing there. Okay, so that's our opportunity. That's our opportunity. Let's scroll down here and see if anybody else did anything like they're supposed to be. Okay, we got Scott. He's got a bachelor's in finance, in business since 2011, 17 years staff accounting. With all due respect, I mean the best, but I'm sorry, nobody cares. Clients that's not what they care about. They don't care about your experience. They don't care about, what you've done in the past or what company you work for. They care about their business and whether or not you can solve the problems in their business, and you haven't communicated that. You've got to communicate the fact that, what problems you can solve, and then the benefits that those clients will realize by working with you. So he hasn't done that. What about Julie? You into business for yourself to engage your unique skill set while building well, I will tell you this. Who's the focus on in this one? It's on the client. Congratulations, Julie. At least you've got the focus on the client. Now, I don't see benefits here, but potentially, if you click into her profile, maybe she's got some more benefits there. But hey, at least she's, speaking in terms of the clients. What good things are going to happen to clients as a result of working with her. Okay. Shelby, she's Hancock SQ is a professional services firm, tracing its origins in Savannah. I'm sorry, but nobody cares. And she's got no reviews. If you have no reviews, if you think putting up a profile here and then not having any reviews is going to be productive for you, well, guess what? If you have no reviews, you're invisible. Who's reaching out to Shelby when they could reach out to people with more reviews? Even though they're, their little value proposition, I like to call it a value proposition, that first benefit statement, even though that section isn't really optimized, Andrew and Scott are probably getting the clients. But imagine this. Imagine if you had both the reviews and you were saying the right things. Not one person here has done that. Okay, so if you live in Savannah, Georgia, you've got a big opportunity. If you don't, move to Savannah. I'm just kidding. You don't have to move to Savannah, because this is the case no matter where you search. People aren't doing this. So you get your reviews and you write about write that section properly. You'll get all the clients you want. Okay. So now let's talk about ranking. Okay. Before we dive in and do a deeper dive on the profile, let's talk real quickly about the rankings. Okay. So you want to be listed at the top. You have to be listed at the top. Again, nobody's scrolling all the way down, and going this far. Okay. People aren't doing that. Okay. So you want to be ranked at the top. Now, how do you get ranked at the top? Well, you get reviews. Okay. Reviews is number one. Again, breakout session. Click that link in the chat, keyboardrich.com/more. And you'll get the link to the breakout session where we'll talk about how to get all the reviews you want, even if you're brand new. So you got to get those reviews, get ranked at the top. And then the second thing is distance, how far you are away from the area you're searching. So right now we're searching Savannah, Georgia. And so if you're close to that, you'll get ranked higher. Okay. So it's distance and reviews, but reviews. And so here's how powerful reviews are. Is that you can be further away from, like a lot further away from the search area. So you can be further away from Savannah and you can rank at the top, even above somebody that is directly in Savannah. Look at Andrew. He's 0 miles away. So he's right there. You can rank above Andrew and live 8 miles away if you've got enough reviews. Reviews will overcome any of that distance. Isn't that cool? So again, you just focus on reviews. What a great opportunity that is, to just get reviews and you're ranked at the top. Okay. So that's what you're going to want to do to get ranked. That's what's important when it comes to ranking. Let's click into the profile. We talked about this section up here, and we also talked about this section and how important it is to start with that value proposition, that benefit statement, with the focus being on the prospect. Okay. So start with that. And I'm not saying you can't talk about yourself, but this entire thing should be benefits, benefits, benefits. It should not even be titled about me. It should be about you, what I can do for you. That's what it should be titled. But most people make the mistake of just blabbering on and on about themselves. I've been doing this for 10 years. I work at PDM LLP, and, I was the fastest promotion in the history of the company. And it's like, so what about my business? What's in it for me? Okay. So if you're going to talk about yourself, put it at the end of it. Okay. But this entire section needs to be written, and it needs to be written properly. It needs to be done well enough to be effective. Don't just slap this thing up there and say, hey, it's not working. Well, yeah. I was in a Facebook group for bookkeepers, and somebody said, hey, is the ProAdvisor work for anybody? And the comments were like, no, it's never worked for me. I've never gotten a client there. And I'm like, I've only worked with thousands of people. I know it works. So what I did was I The people who said no, I clicked on their names. I found where they lived on Facebook. I went to ProAdvisor. I searched for them. And guess what Bill found? I found no reviews, awful pictures. Some people had only one sentence in their About Me section, and it was never what it should be. No effort was taken. Well, of course not. Do you see how big of an opportunity this is when nobody's doing this properly? I mean, we're just seeing it for ourselves, that nobody's doing this properly. This is a huge opportunity for you. So if you scroll down here, years in business, if you put 1 there, because you're just starting out, that's what you're going to put. 1 year. Okay. That's the lowest it'll go. So you put 1 year. Again, clients don't care about that. Most clients don't even get down this far. Okay. Clients are going to care about what's up here. Okay. So the industries that you can work with, you can just click that you work with all of them, that you work with QuickBooks Online. You don't have to select all these different things. And then your reviews. Okay. You've got to get those reviews. And then what clients do, potential clients, is they will fill out typically this message. Sometimes they'll click this and they'll call, but most of the time they'll just fill out this form here and you'll get an email saying so-and-so wants to work with you. Okay. And here's the secret of success. Here's the real trick. Okay. Not that there's a trick to this, but I can't tell you how many people, they get these emails and then they get back to the person like the next day or, later on that afternoon. If you get somebody who reaches out to you and interested in working with you, drop everything. Now, if you're holding a baby, don't drop the baby. Okay. But drop everything and call them. I don't really care what time it is. Okay. I don't really even care what time it is. Drop everything and just get back to them. Get back to them as quickly as possible, because it's possible that they might be reaching out to a couple different people. Be the first one to get back to them. I've had people reach out to me at 9:30 p.m. and I've called them. They reached out to me. They're up. Let's talk. Right? Let's talk. So they've done that. Get back to them. Okay. Be the first one. So that's the tip. Okay. That's the pro tip. Be the first one. Okay. So that's ProAdvisor. Do you see how important it is to be listed here? I mean, it's just mandatory. And the cool thing here is that once you get this profile up and optimized and you're ranked at the top, it's set it and forget it. Clients reach out to you. You don't have to go out and pound the pavement. They just reach out to you, which is awesome. Okay. So now there is a way, the second way that we are going to talk about of getting clients. And this one is not set it and forget it and just, wait for people to contact you. Now we can take control. You'll get plenty of clients from ProAdvisor, but what if we want to take control and grow really, really quickly? Okay. We want to be more active. Like, let's go out. Let's build this business quick. Well, let's talk about the second of our 2 most effective marketing strategies. Let me pull this over to the screen and see who knows what we're looking at. Well, most of you probably have heard of LinkedIn. This is LinkedIn. Okay. LinkedIn is the second of the 2 best ways of getting clients. Again, these are both free. Okay. Because while ProAdvisor was great because you optimize it and you set it and people reach out to you, LinkedIn allows us to take a more active role and we can just reach out. Okay. And we can control how fast we are able to grow. Plus, LinkedIn helps us work with clients across the country. With ProAdvisor, people are generally going to be searching in their geographic location. One of the things I'll also talk about later this week is how on ProAdvisor you can get your profile listed in the nearest big city so that you have a lot of people reaching out to you. So if you're worried about living in the middle of nowhere and there not being a lot of businesses around you, you can get your profile listed in the nearest big city, which is cool. Okay. So you want to do that with ProAdvisor, but with LinkedIn, man, you're connecting with people across the country. Okay. So let's take a look at LinkedIn and how we're going to get it to work for you. So on LinkedIn, much like ProAdvisor, you're going to have a profile. Okay, so you're going to create a profile. So I'm going to pull up someone's profile here and we'll take a look at what makes a good profile. This is Sarah Ford. Okay, Sarah Ford. Let's click into her profile and see what makes up a good profile. Okay, so on LinkedIn, you can have a profile. And the mistake that most people make is that they make it look like a resume. Because you can put your job history and all that stuff in it. They just make it look like a resume. And guess what? That's a huge missed opportunity. That's a huge missed opportunity. Don't be like everybody else unless you want to grow slow like everybody else or be unsuccessful like everybody else. Okay. Do what's different. Do what's going to stand out to clients. So you're going to create your profile, and here's what you're going to want to do. Here are the components that you're going to want to have. So you're going to have a profile. People aren't going to reach out to you as much as they will with LinkedIn. It's not something where you create a profile and people just reach out to you. We are going to be actively reaching out to other people. Okay. But you want to have a profile set up as your home base. Okay. And what makes a good profile? Well, think about it like an advertisement. It's your opportunity to advertise yourself. Okay. Not in a salesy, sleazy way, but focus on, what are we going to focus on? I wonder if it's going to be the potential client and benefits. We'll see. So the first thing you're going to want to do is this cover photo up here. You see this cover photo, this yellow big photo? It says, let us take bookkeeping off your plate so you can focus on what you do best. Benefits and a focus on the client. Okay. Connect today for a free consultation. Love it. Okay. That's what I call a call to action. Tell people what you want them to do. Hey, connect with me. Okay. Connecting with somebody's like adding them as a friend on Facebook. Okay. In fact, I call LinkedIn Facebook for professionals. Okay. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with LinkedIn, LinkedIn is like Facebook for professionals. You can have a profile and you can, connect with people and you can exchange messages. And LinkedIn is, since it's for professionals, like who do we work with? Business owners. This is where business owners are. So let's go where they are and connect with them. Okay. So, you want that cover photo to have a call to action. Tell people what you want them to do. Hey, connect with me so that we can, talk about what we can do for your business. Okay. You've got her name, and then you've got this. Okay. What's this? Well, this is called your headline. And most people's headline say bookkeeper. I mean, if you look, you say bookkeeper. Okay. If you look over here, you see, on the side, you see other profiles, owner at White Rock Consulting. Well, missed opportunity. Bernard Bookkeeping Services, missed opportunity. Hey, Sydney says, I save small business owners an average of 60 hours each week. Interesting. Sarah Ford says, I help small business owners save time and money by helping them make sound decisions based on accurate financial information. Sounds to me like Sarah and Sydney know how this works. But the vast majority of people, Patricia, Katerina, they don't. This is not a resume. This is your opportunity to, instead of saying bookkeeper or owner at Ford Bookkeeping or whatever the case may be, put your value proposition there. Put that first sentence in there. Benefits and a focus on the client. Put those things in there, because when you connect with people, okay, we're going to talk about connecting in a minute, but when you connect with people on LinkedIn, you're reaching out to people. When they get a message that says that you've reached out, they're going to see your name and they're going to see your headline. So make sure it's great. Earn that click, right? They're going to see your connection message. And at that point, they're going to decide whether or not this is worth clicking on that message to accept you as a connection or to look at your profile. So just like on ProAdvisor, where you saw those results with the little blurb, we have to earn them, that click for them to click on our profile. We have to earn that click here. So you don't hit them with bookkeeper, you hit them with your value proposition, those benefits. Okay. So that's how important that is. Okay. Now scrolling down, I see an about section. I see it's not called about me like it is on ProAdvisor. You can use exactly what you use on ProAdvisor here, but remember, it's not about you. It's about the client. And look at what Sarah's saying. Are you spending too much time tracking deposits? Are you, spending 100 hours a year on your bookkeeping? What's slowing my profits? Where's my money being spent? All of this. I mean, I don't see anything about her. And this is a great profile. Don't steal this profile. Don't shortchange yourself. Okay, come up with your own. But this is how it's done. And that's why I know Sarah's doing awesome on LinkedIn. Okay, she's doing awesome on LinkedIn. So you got your about section. Make sure that is written perfectly. I'll talk in the breakout session about how to write that full profile. But then you can list your experience here, but don't make the mistake of just making it look like a resume. Okay. Use this profile as your opportunity to stand out. Okay. So again, you're going to get your profile up and you're going to get it optimized. That's step one, but you're not done there, because people aren't going to, like ProAdvisor, people are actively looking for bookkeepers. Okay. They're actively looking. Here on LinkedIn, people aren't actively looking for bookkeeping profiles. Okay. So this is an opportunity for us to be active and take control and move more quickly. Okay. But step 1 is getting your profile under control. Step 2 is getting active, reaching out. How does that work? Well, here's how it works. On LinkedIn, you can do a search. Okay, let's do a search. Let's search for a specific type of business owner. Okay, that's the best place to start. Start with a specific type of business owner. So instead of searching for just a small business owner or business owner, just choose something. I've used chiropractor. My wife's a chiropractor. I've got a bunch of chiropractic clients. They need bookkeepers. Let's search for chiropractors. Well, what comes up? Well, a bunch of people, a bunch of chiropractors. And if I click on see all people results, I see all these chiropractors. And look at these buttons. Connect, 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 connect. I can connect with them. I can make this connection. I don't have to go to a networking event. I can sit here and I can connect with business owners. Okay, I can connect with them. I click that connect button. Okay, you have an opportunity to add a message. Okay, and pop quiz. Are we going to add a message? Yes, that's our opportunity to, again, earn that click, create a connection. Okay, what do we say in that message? Anybody have any idea? Benefits and a focus on the client. Okay, you can send your value proposition, your benefit statement. You can send that to them. Okay, and that's going to encourage them to want to connect with you. Okay, connecting, again, it's like on Facebook where you add somebody as a friend. And once that connection is made, you can now start to have a conversation with them. You can exchange messages with them. And again, what are you going to say? Well, you're not going to say what most people say, right? We're not most people. We're doing it right. What do most people do on LinkedIn? Well, they say, hey, thanks for connecting. Do you have time for a phone call? I can talk to you a little bit about how I can help you with your bookkeeping. Wine me and dine me first, okay? Wine me and dine me first. My gosh, I don't know you. I'm not getting on the phone. So what do? We don't do that. Let's save that for down the road sometime. Let's start sending them something of value. Let's start sending them messages that contain actual value, things that they can actually do in their business. Some suggestions on, tips, tricks, different ways that they can, increase profit. We can find all kinds of different valuable messages that we can be sending to clients that now they'll say, well, this guy didn't ask for anything. And boy, I never really thought about doing this. That's actually really cool. I want to look into that. Or I didn't know you could do that in QuickBooks. Or I'm having that problem in QuickBooks and I didn't know that there was just that one setting that I could change. They'll start to see value here. Somebody just giving. And what do we do with people that just give and don't expect anything in return? We want to give them something in return. We want to reciprocate. And so you send them messages with value, valuable information that they can use in their business, and they're going to want to reciprocate. And at some point down the road, that turns into a phone call. And it doesn't have to be a long time. We're talking about a couple of weeks here. You communicate with somebody and you send them the right messages. It's not just sending a message, right? It's not just about doing it. It's about doing it right. You send them the right messages, and then this just turns into a phone call. And then what do we say to them on the phone? Well, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Okay, we're going to talk about that on Friday, exactly what you say. But this stuff is going to start working. You get this stuff set up properly. Let me not send a message to Amy. But you just go through and you connect, number one. And number two, they will see that connection request. They'll see your value statement. They might click into your profile, which is why we want that thing solid and optimized. And then we start exchanging those messages and moving it to a phone call. Okay, so you get your ProAdvisor profile set up. You get your ProAdvisor profile set up. You start doing LinkedIn properly, and you get all of these people reaching out to you. You've got one that's kind of like set it and forget it, and then you've got one where you can be active and take control. And that's how it works. These people that get these 100K Club awards, these are the top two. These are the top two. Okay, so again, LinkedIn is super valuable because you can work with clients across. It doesn't matter that Amy's in Glendora, California. I'm in California, so a bunch of the results are showing me California, but I can do a search in New York and I can reach out to people. So it doesn't matter if you're in a small town. you can get clients anywhere you want. So are you seeing how powerful this is? Are you seeing how beneficial this is? And speaking about how powerful this can be, I'll say it at least one more time. Success leaves clues. Okay. So what do I want to do now? Well, I want to introduce you to somebody who, again, started where you are and at some point learned this valuable skill, but said, well, I don't really have a business unless I have clients. And so had to go get clients, had to find clients. And what did that look like? I want to introduce you to somebody who basically took the same steps I'm asking you to take. And I want you to be able to have an opportunity to learn from his journey and what that looked like in terms of using the marketing strategies, how quickly it happened. And I'll even open it up for a couple of questions as well. So I'd like to introduce you to Ibrahim. Ibrahim, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Can you hear me?
I can. Loud and clear.
Bill.
Good to see you too. And thank you for joining us and just kind of sharing your story and helping everybody who's on the challenge this week, learn what this looks like.
Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of where you were prior to this, this exciting world of bookkeeping.
Yeah. So prior to obviously getting access to you, Bill, I was working in corporate America. I was there. I like to say it was long, but it was 7 long years for me. And yeah, I did that. I did that for a little while. And I wasn't excited. I didn't feel like I was, fulfilling my purpose and my desire. And I knew I was going to be some sort of entrepreneur. I just didn't necessarily know in what avenue. And working in supply chain, it was completely different than, doing bookkeeping and accounting, right? Obviously it's business, but your course popped up and I decided to bet on myself because I knew I wanted entrepreneurship. And from there, like I just took things and started running with it. So I think for me though, I didn't act as fast as I wanted to have acted, but it was a good experience from being able to actually, take your course and start to build my bookkeeping firm from there.
Got it. So you were in supply chain for like 7 years and you wanted to make a change. Like what was the driving force behind that change and why bookkeeping?
Yeah, the biggest change for me is like I was very big on family. So I was working, 50, 60 hours a week. And I started to see myself, okay, where I was going to go. Like I like to look at people that are ahead of me. I looked at the vice president of supply chain, like that was, 10 years ahead of me. I was like, would I change lives with him? And the answer was no. And for me, I was like, okay, I can't continue to pursue it. If nothing changes now, nothing's ever going to change. So I had to change what I was currently doing. And that came from me starting something new, starting a business on the side. I wanted something different. So that was that biggest drive for me. And I'm big on family, right? So my schedule was, wake up, get to work around like 7:30, 8 o'clock. I wouldn't get off till about 5:30, 6 o'clock sometimes, and sometimes 7. And I get home, I see my wife. I'll go to the gym for a little bit. Then we're spending about an hour at night, spending time with each other because we have to go to bed to do it again the next day. And I couldn't see myself doing that for 40, 50 years of my life. It just wasn't exciting for me. So I knew I had to change my story because I wanted to be able to create a lifestyle for my family. And now my daughter today to where, it could be that fairy tale lifestyle.
So you didn't have kids when you decided to make the change, or did you?
No. So it's funny. It's as soon as you decide to make a decision that's going to change your life for the better, I think that's when, new things come or adversity happens. Right. So as soon as I decided to pursue my bookkeeping business, my wife finds that she's pregnant. Right. And then, now
no pressure.
No pressure. It's like, and then she's like, well, I don't want to go back to work. So I want to be a stay-at-home mom. Okay. So that means I have to be able to provide different opportunities so she can be able to have that lifestyle, and be a stay-at-home mom. Because now our daughter's a year old, and my wife works corporate. So I have to be able to scale my business and grow a business to where I'm not tied to just being in the office. Got
it. So what was it about bookkeeping that appealed to you?
Really just how simple it seemed. I mean, it was not easy, but it was simple, right? And that was the big thing for me, to where it's like I knew it was. I didn't need to have I had no experience. I didn't know QuickBooks advisories. I had no certificates, nothing. So I knew I was going to have to learn a lot of the stuff, but it seemed very simple to be able to learn, right? And obviously I might be biased, but I decided to bet on myself, bet on being able to opt into some of the opportunities to learn from you. And I mean, you laid the framework exactly what I needed to, like, you put it all there. The only way you could fail is by not taking the course and taking it serious. That was the biggest thing for me. So I decided to go all in and take the time to actually educate myself, which up front, I might have lost some sleep, right? But I wanted it fast. I wanted it right away. I wanted the results quick. So I had to change, my circumstances by actually, going in on it.
Yeah. So what was the learning curve look like? How quickly were you able to kind of come up to speed? Because a lot of everybody on the challenge, we've learned how to do some bookkeeping, and some of the work the work that we did this week, you'll do with all your clients. You'll do categorizations and reconciliations. But what did that learning process look like, learning QuickBooks?
Yeah, so it's funny. So when I opted into your program, was it August of, I believe, 20, I think it was maybe August 22, but I didn't do anything. Like, I maybe touched like I did like the intro courses where it talked about, maybe getting your, a lot of different structures in your business, but I didn't actually do anything until February of 23. And from February of 23, that's when I took a legit a month time frame of going through every single course, right? Every single module. I was in and out of it. I got all my QuickBooks, my certificate to be able to get on Pro Advisor, and did all that. And then from that same month, as I was pursuing it, before I even got my certificate, I got my first client, because I started implementing the stuff along the way. And that was the thing. So you made it in step by step to where I don't have to wait till everything is ready. And that was my issue, to where I should have started back in August, but I waited till February. I was getting ready to get ready when you really just need to start.
Getting ready to get ready. I see it happen quite a bit, but you made it anyway. So yep. Let's talk about where you are now then. So what has this grown into? What's your business look like now?
Bill, like, it's funny because it just keeps continuing to come out. I know my wife is just like, oh, you got another client? Where are you getting these clients from? And it's almost like I had to break that barrier, that first client, to where I built that confidence in myself. So I was like, okay, this makes sense. And then, I'm educating them. And the reality is, a lot, they don't, there's so many business owners that don't know. They don't know what's going on in their books. They don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And even the little knowledge that I got through QuickBooks made me the expert immediately. To where, my first client came from referral. And then the next client came from QuickBooks Pro Advisor. This week alone, I got 2 referrals from QuickBooks Pro Advisor. And one of them is my biggest client yet. To where now today, I'm making $7,550 per month in just in my bookkeeping, just an ongoing income, not including cleanup work, but just recurring revenue from all my clients, $7,550. So a little over $90K per year. And my business is like, this is what I mean. From February till about November of last year, I was right around 60K, and just on the pace that I'm at, I'm gonna smoke that, and I'm looking forward to it.
So you're at $7,550 a month, which is like close to 6 figures. And that's just, but you're, is it fair to assume that you're over 6 figures with the cleanup work?
I'm definitely over 6 figures. My cleanup works average anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000. So I've done, most of my clients, so I have 7 reoccurring. So that 7,550 come from 7 clients. So pretty much an average of about 1,000. And my minimum fee that I charge is $400. But this last client just from QuickBooks Pro Advisor was $3,000 a month. So my biggest client, I was like, really? I almost wanted to ask for more. it was exciting when I put that price out there. So yeah, it's super exciting.
So, that's pretty incredible. So you're over 6 figures and we'll talk a little bit later about cleanups, but those are over half the clients that come to you will need their books cleaned up, and you can charge a hefty amount for that. Yeah. But what does life look like now? Because you went from the supply chain working a lot of hours. What does life look like now for you and your family?
The beautiful thing is, I get to my daughter's, she's 13 months, going on 13 months in a couple of days, to where my mornings don't start till 10 a.m. I used to have to be in the office at 7:30, but I get to spend that time from 7:30 now till about 10 o'clock, spending time with my daughter before I start to actually get into my work. My wife still currently works, but we have a goal by the end of the year to where, my business on the rate that it's going, she can be able to walk away and actually be a stay-at-home mom with our daughter. So that's the most exciting part, where it's like I get that time to be able to be with my daughter in the mornings and the evening time frames, but now I want to start to clean up the day to where, my schedule is different every week, and the thing is, I do have that flexibility now, right? I'm probably putting in anywhere from on average 20 to 30 hours per week.
Okay.
So it's nothing crazy. I was putting in 50 hours in corporate America, so I'm excited about that. So, but now I'm excited to be able to scale and to be able to build an actual business in all areas to where I can be able to grow and scale from there.
That is cool. So 20 to 30 hours a week?
Mm-hmm.
20 to 30 hours a week. So that's a popular question. We'll open it up for questions if you've got a couple of minutes here in a little
absolutely.
bit. But 20 to 30 hours a week, making over six figures. Do you have any assistants or help, or is that just all you?
So I'm actually just in the process of hiring an actual assistant, an assistant to kind of help out, because things are just it's getting a lot. So I'm in the process, and they're actually going to be starting next week. So I've been pushing. So now it's finally time, because I know I can't do it all by myself, right? I got to be able to grow to a certain spot to be able to scale and actually be able to take on more clients, because I can't do it myself. So
That's cool.
Now the help is coming. So that means the six figures is just the beginning, and it's growing from there.
What is your goal?
My goal by end of the year is $250,000.
Wow. All right. Well, we have a couple people that are there, and we're in the process of making new awards. So you'll be getting one of our new awards. But what's it been like in terms of like what your wife thinks about this thing that you did? I mean, there must have been a little bit of trepidation when you're making this change, but what was that like? And then like now, what does she think about what you've created?
It's funny, because I remember we had this conversation, and she was like, because I always have these kicks, everyone, and I think some of us we have these kicks where we see something and we're like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and I was almost like always acting off of impulse, to where I wanted to do something, and then when I told her I'm gonna start my own bookkeeping business, she was like, okay, this is another one of your kicks, right? And then she saw me get a client. Then she saw me get another client. Then she saw that it was actually bringing revenue in. She was like, okay, like he might be serious about actually being able to, get me out of my job. And that now that she sees it coming in, and she sees me going to Chamber of Commerce's and networking with people, like I asked her last week, and I was like, so do you, where do you want to get involved? Right. I know there's some different strategies. Like, it was like, do you, like, when you walk away, do you want to just be a full-time mom, or do you want to kind of help out with the business? And she was like, no, I want to go to Chamber of Commerce with you. I want to go out to events with you. I want to go network with you. And I was like, now it's becoming a family business, and I can be able to leverage her, be able to leverage my daughter in some different ways. And that became exciting, because it's something that we'll be able to build together. She'll be able to come on board. Like, she helped me with interviews last week. So that's a beautiful thing, to where I'm building an actual, business to where my entire family can get involved, and it's dependent on my terms, not somebody else's.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. So let me back up just a little bit. When it came to getting clients, because that's what we're talking about today and tomorrow, I mean, did you have some concerns? Because most people have concerns. They're like, oh, it's going to be hard. I know you got a client right away, but like, did you feel like it was going to be hard? And then what was the reality?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that most people have a fear on is, and really all fear is like my acronym of it is false evidence appearing real, right? And that was the thing that really I was like, oh, I don't want to reach out. I want to post on Facebook that I have a business. I don't want to do all these different things for people to know. But then, like, once you do it, you'll be surprised on the people that actually, want to support you. And that was for me. I had people, I didn't think I had a lot of people who would support me, but then they started sharing my stuff, and people would be like recommending me. And that's how that first one, it took some time, a couple of weeks, when I actually started, diving in, and I actually let people know that I had a business before I got the referral. And then, all it was just setting the things up in place, like you just talked about. I saw you go into the program. I was like, man, once I set up just like that, I haven't touched it in over a year. I haven't touched it, and it's still getting me clients. I got 2 from that just in this past week, to where the clients are out there. They need your help. They just need to know that you actually exist, and they actually know that you're worth their time. And that was the biggest thing for me. It's just fear, but you have to be able to put yourself out there for people to come find you.
So can somebody who's brand new get clients? Because that's the question that everybody watching right now is asking themselves.
1,000%. Everybody knows somebody who needs bookkeeping services. Everybody knows somebody. And if you don't know, you know one person, they know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. There's a way. So it doesn't matter where you start. If you know nobody, you don't think you have anybody in your phone contacts, nobody on social media, you can start from scratch and be able to find it. It's just that willingness and that persistency to actually go for it.
That's yeah. And if you know nobody, well, that's what ProAdvisor and LinkedIn are for. Cool. So Anna, if you want to open up the chat real quick, we'll take a couple of questions for Ibrahim. If you got a couple of questions, because I know people are excited to learn from you and hear about your journey. Let me see here. We got a couple of questions coming in. So, you said you have how many? Somebody's asking how many clients. You said you have 7 clients, all right?
7.
Okay, are they
clients? Yep.
Small, medium, large? I know the average is about 1,000, but
my large there. I would say my average. I have it up here is. Well, the average I make. Well, the average from is about $1,200 a month, but my biggest client does about, I want to say like 2.3 million per year.
Okay, 2.3 million in revenue. And are these local clients or are they remote? Everybody's remote, right?
All over. I got one in Chicago. I got another 2. The ones that typically find me in ProAdvisor are local. So that I have 2 that are local in Ohio, or 3 that are local in Ohio. One's in Texas, another one's in Georgia, and another one in Ohio. So majority of them are Ohio, but I have 3: Texas, Chicago, and Georgia that are all over as well. So
got it. Very cool. How have you handled the fear? You talk about false evidence appearing real, which I thought was really cool. But what was the thing about bookkeeping that kind of that you've struggled with the most?
Yeah, I think it was this wanting to know everything. I think I am like a perfectionist to where before I release something, I want it to be perfect. And the thing is, you learn through it, through the process. Some of the things that I'm learning, even now with some of the bookkeeping stuff, is coming from me actually performing it on the client, right? So working through it to where I wanted to know everything, to where I can sound like the smart person that can just educate my clients on everything, but they don't know anything anyway. So it doesn't matter what you say, just say something, and they'll honestly, you say it with confidence, they'll believe you. So that's what I got good at. I got really at being confident. It's I know what I'm talking about, but in reality, it's I'm going to take some hours and I got to put this all together. And that was the biggest thing, is actually just going out there, taking that leap of faith, stepping out there, and then figuring the rest out later. Because the thing is, I knew I had the support. I had Bill. I had the support team that you've been able to provide, to where I can get on a call and be able to get my questions answered, or put some things in discussion boards, get my questions answered. So I wasn't alone in that process. And that gave me the confidence to where I wasn't doing it by myself. That is awesome.
That is cool. And that's, I say often that it's up here. The QuickBooks can be learned. You can get clients, but it's the self-doubt and the things like that. It's just keep moving one foot in front of the other. So that's really helpful. Yep. Cool. So what would you say was the biggest key to your success?
I would definitely say persistency. It's just keep showing up every single day. And even there's going to be days, there was days where I didn't get any leads, right? There's more days that I didn't get leads than I did get leads. But when I got those leads, it was a $3,000. I made in one client I just made this past week. It was $2,000 for a cleanup and $3,000 a month. The significance of that is worth me missing out on if I didn't have leads for a whole month, right? Yeah. Because that made a significant amount. So if I would have just gave up after, not getting a lead for a month, right? Or whatever the case may be, I would have never got that client. But I just stayed persistent. They're good. They're out there. I just feel like God's put me in position to find the right client that's for me.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And so that client it's $2,000 for the cleanup, $3,000 for a month. So that's $5,000 you just collected from that client. Yep. And if it's $3,000 a month, that client represents, $2,000 a month. That's $24,000 in revenue for that client over the course of a year.
It's $36,000. So it's $3,000 a month. The cleanup $3,000 a month. $3,000.
Okay, got it. Yeah, okay. So $36,000 a year. So
Yep.
that's for the Pro Advisor that we just went through that you haven't touched in a year. That's awesome. Cool. So I'm just kind of scrolling through here. I see a lot of questions that we've already answered. Forgive me if I miss your question. They're kind of moving very quickly. Yeah. Okay. I think we're good. So, I asked this question of Heidi yesterday. I want to ask you, is there something special about you that you're successful with this and other people couldn't be? And I'd love your honest answer to that.
I think the only I have a burning desire. So if you're on this call and you don't truly know your why, figure out your why. That's the only difference that I like. I know what my why is, and that why is what wakes me up every single day and what keeps me going. And like I'm willing to do whatever it is, right? So I talked about the passion I have for being able to have my wife walk away from her job and be a stay-at-home mom, right? There's things I want to be able to create in my family to where it's like it doesn't matter what it takes to get that done. I'm gonna do it. Right. So that's my burning desire. It has to hurt somewhere to where it's going to motivate you to keep going, even on the days where you don't get success. So that's the only difference, because that's going to lead to that persistency that you need, to where you have that burning desire to continue to keep going when things get tough.
That is very well put. And I'm glad you mentioned that. And it's something that where I haven't, I've sort of made this reference earlier in the week in VIP, but a lot of us have been in situations where our backs were against the wall.
Yeah.
And we had no choice. And what did we do? Well, we figured it out. We made something happen. Yeah. And, I don't want everybody's back to be up against the wall, but when you consider where you could be in just a couple of months from now, if you acted like your back was against the wall and had that burning desire, like you can get there, but you have to have that desire. You have to have a reason for doing this.
Yep, absolutely.
So that's really great. One last question before you go. What would you say to the people that are watching right now, that are on this challenge, that are like still, kind of curious about whether or not getting clients is going to be a problem for me?
Yeah, I think the best thing you can do, and it's been my phrase of the year, is success loves speed, right? So if you want to change your circumstances right now, act fast. Don't delay. Don't wait for it to be the perfect time. It's never going to be perfect. Life is still going to happen, regardless if you start a business or not, right? So whatever your circumstances may be, wherever you are right now, do whatever it is that you need to do to get access to what Bill knows. Because the reality of it is, another saying I say, and he I know he loves this, is you just got to copy. There's nothing wrong to be a copycat. Just copy the right cat, and Bill's the right cat. Like, he's not gonna brag on himself, but he is killing this game. So you're in the best hands that you possibly have in the bookkeeping industry. So just if the opportunity comes and you have the opportunity to work with Bill, I wouldn't take it lightly. I would go all in and just bet on yourself.
I appreciate you saying that. I really do. I just want to give people the information that they need to. And then it's up to them. I can't drag you through the process. You don't need to be dragged through the process. You have done some really impressive things. I'm proud of what you've done. And you should be proud of yourself. And hopefully you are. But I appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today and just letting everybody learn about your journey and what that really looks like.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Bill. Thanks for having me.
Cool. No problem, Ibrahim. We'll talk to you soon.
See you guys.
Okay. Bye-bye. Awesome. So that's Ibrahim. And what truer words, right? It's all up to us. What's our why? Okay, why are we doing this? If we don't have that desire, if we're just like, hey, I'm just seeing how things go, well, I hope that's not you. Okay, but I don't think so, because you've made it this far. You've made it this far, and you've got this incredible skill, and now you know where to look and a little bit about what to say. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about, now, what do we on the phone? We got our marketing working. What do we say on the phone? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Let me go ahead and click a few buttons, and I am going to share my screen real quick. We are going to do this. All right. Go to this website, because right now, Ibrahim talked about working with me. I've, again, worked with over 8,000 people, helping them to get to where they want to be really quickly. Okay, so we're talking a matter of a month or two, as opposed to, just you want to get to where you want to be quickly. I'll talk in the breakout session about your options moving forward. How do you take this incredible progress you've made this week and keep building on it? Okay. I want you guys to be successful and not stop. Okay. So here's what you do. In about 5 minutes, we're going to start the breakout session. If you want to hear about how you can work with me and we can continue working really closely together, and I just take your hand and walk you through everything, go to keyboardrich.com/more. Anna's going to drop that into the chat, that link. Might want to put the HTTPS in front of it so people can click on it. And you go there, you fill out, you just complete a few questions. Tell me a little bit about yourself. You'll get a link to the breakout session that's going to start in about 5 minutes. And I'll just walk through it. Okay. And I'll give you some tips and tricks and all kinds of different things. Okay. So that's basically what you do. Do that now. So you get that link. Okay. Now, homework. We're keeping it moving. We're still working. Okay. Homework, 2 things. And you'll find these in the featured section of the Facebook group. Find the day 4 homework post, go to the featured section of the Facebook group, and you will see the post. And number 1, which of the 2 marketing strategies that we covered today are you going to use and why? Which one's going to be your priority? ProAdvisor, LinkedIn, which one is going to be your jam? The first thing out of the gate that you do and why? Okay. And then the second piece of homework, testimonials. Okay. I want to know what you guys thought about the week. Okay. We've done a lot of cool things. Hopefully you've had some fun. You've learned a lot. I want to hear your feedback. Okay. So if you were in the challenge and you were not VIP, if you're just part of the regular challenge, your testimonial, tell us a little bit about your experience during the challenge. And what would you say to somebody who is considering doing the challenge? Okay. What would you say to them? Okay. So that's what you'll do. VIP, if you were part of the VIP, talk a little bit, in addition to those things, talk a little bit about your experience in the VIP. Okay. In the VIP program. And what would you say to somebody who's considering upgrading to VIP? Okay. So those are the things that you'll want to include, your biggest aha moments, what your experience was like, your biggest takeaways, all that stuff. Okay. And remember, if you post a video testimonial, you get 5 points. If you just type your testimonial, you'll get 3 points. Okay. So make sure you do your homework and, we'll get those prizes going tomorrow. Okay. So we are going to start the breakout session here in just a couple of minutes. I'm just going to go grab something to drink. And then we are going to go live and we'll walk through everything, how to continue beyond this week. So for those of you joining me on the breakout session, we'll see you real soon. Everybody else, we will see you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time for day 5 of the Keyboard Rich Challenge. Again, we got the skill. We got people reaching out to us. What do we say to them on the phone to get them to become a paying customer? Okay. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how much to charge. We're going to talk about, how we can make this maybe a bit more of a passive opportunity, how we can embrace AI to make what we do even easier, all those fun things. So we got a lot of fun things planned for tomorrow. So again, we will see most of you in the breakout session here in a little bit. Everybody else will see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Bye-bye.